Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm Snehal Patil, the Outreach and Media Lead of CodeChef SIT's Pune chapter, and today's host. Today, we are presenting Journey to Competitive Programming and Interview Experience, presented by our guest Sankalp Dayal. He is an incoming software development engineer at PayPal, former SDE intern at Visa, and has completed three technical internships. Okay, so I'll restrict my words over here as you'll come to know a lot about him as he will walk us through this session. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. I'll bring them up at the end of the session. Okay, then over to you, sir.
Okay, so thanks, Nehal. And okay, so now we'll start with this presentation. And this is a journey to competitive programming and interview experience. And I would like to thank Abhishek for the invitation and the entire team for this. So now we'll start this presentation. So first, I'll like to tell about myself. So I am currently a final year CSC student from VIT, and I've completed three technical internships till now, with the recent one being at Visa. I've also done some internships as campus ambassador and marketing intern. So we'll talk about this later. And I've also like been a scholar for deep learning nano degree that is provided by Udacity. And I've also done some more scholarships from Udacity. And recently, I've completed the 30 days of GCP, that is Google Cloud Program. That is provided by Google. So we'll talk all about these things in later. Okay. So for this today's video, I'll be discussing all these topics. So we'll start first with the 4 year journey for me. That was for the entire college life. Then we'll talk about what is competitive programming and if it is necessary to do competitive programming or we can skip this also. And if we are willing to do the CP, so how to start this thing. So we'll discuss all the resources and all for competitive programming, and then I'll be discussing my interview experiences. So till now, I have given interviews at these four companies, that is JP Morgan, D Shaw, Visa, and PayPal. So I'll be sharing all the experiences that I had for these four companies. And I also have a YouTube channel, so I'll discuss about this later. And some challenges that you can face in this entire journey, so that I will discuss. And at the end, I'll be having some Q&A. So I've got many questions that I'll be answering. Okay, so if I talk about my 4 year journey, so from the first year, I have started development. So it is like if you are doing competitive programming, you should also have some development experience. So when I was in first year, I had no contacts with seniors, so like I was not guided by anyone. So I just explored many things, and whatever I found suitable and interesting, that I started. So if I talk about first year, I had experience in Android development, and I developed some basic Android apps. Then I moved to game development, and I developed few games that like you can play on your mobile phones also. And this was regarding the development part. And then I started with DSA also, that is data structures and algorithms. And I started with HackerRank and HackerEarth. So these are the two websites that I started with. And HackerEarth is also having some tutorials or some theory part that we can refer if we are new to any topic. And HackerRank is having like many questions, category wise. So there is one problem solving skills also that I started. So this was about my first year, and also I had done like completed some internships as campus ambassadors and marketing interns. So this
Excuse
was
me,
about.
sir.
Yes, yes.
Sorry to intervene. Your slides aren't changing.
Okay. Is this changing now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so like I was talking about my first year. So I had started with Android development, game development, and for the data structures and algorithms, that is coding part. So I started with HackerRank and HackerEarth, and I also did some like internships in the like for the role of campus ambassadors and marketing interns. And then I also had a subject for IoT, so I learned the basics of IoT and I did one project for that. Now if I move to second year, so like after the end of first year we have summer break, so in that I learned web development. And then in second year onwards, like I started making some projects and all. And for the coding part, then I started with CodeChef, CodeForces, AdCoder, TopCoder, Spoj, SPOJ. So these are some of the websites that are more into competitive programming. And like then I more focused on CodeChef because I like the platform like better than other. And like after learning web development, I also did some internships in the field of web development. So basically I did two internships that was for web development. So like if you are learning anything, like it is either Android or game development or anything, you should also try to do some internships in that. So this thing I missed in first year because I just learned the things, made some projects, and then I moved on. But if I had done some internships in that field, so that will be a better situation. And you can also put that internship thing in your resume. Okay. So like I did two internships in that second year, and there is one scholarship that is given by Udacity that was for AWS scholarship. So AWS is a cloud platform that is provided by Amazon. So in that there are some challenges that I was given, and then I had some blockchain experiences also. Like I started one internship in the field of blockchain, but I left that in between, like in middle, because I was not like much interested in that field. And then there are many scholarships I got from Udacity. So that is first is DAND, that is data analysis nano degree. So this was the first nano degree that I took from Udacity, and it was a paid one. So like the cost is very high, but the projects that you get to do in that entire nano degree is very good. And then there is SPAC, that is Secure and Private AI Challenge. So this was also from Udacity in the field of AI. So this was like the round one of the challenge, and the round two was a full nano degree, that is DLND, Deep Learning Nano Degree. So in that there are many projects. Then recently there was a Bertelsmann Tech Scholarship, like 1 or 2 months before. So regarding that, I also had made a video for this, but like this was for my second year. So that time I had cleared that Bertelsmann Tech Scholarship in the field of cloud. And there was one more scholarship, that is Intel Edge AI. So it was like collaborated with Intel, and it was related to AI fields. Then in my third year, I moved to AI, ML, and deep learning. So in these fields also, I did many projects. And finally, I was also a GS SOC mentor, that is Girl Script Summer of Code. So that project was also based on AI and ML things. And in this year, like third year, I had to apply for internships also. So I had to like do some good projects so that I can put these things in my resume. So I focused more on AI ML and did some projects in this field, which I've added in my resume. So like if we are learning any particular topic, it is must to have some good projects so that we can like showcase that okay, I have worked in this particular domain. And for the coding part, I moved to lead code and interview bit. So this time, like I was suggested by one senior, Like he is currently working in Amazon. He suggested me to use this website Lead Code, and there is one specific group of challenges that is for interview preparation, and there is around 150 questions in that group. So I started with that like collection of questions, and interview bit is also very good if we are focusing on interviews like placement preparation. And at the end of third year, like in around February or March, I was selected for internship at Visa. So I think Lead Code has helped me very much for this selection, and also the projects that I have done, that I did till now. And finally, in my fourth year, like I had just been working on some more projects and all. And recently, I completed the 30 days of GCP program that is provided by Google. So it is also a cloud program. So if you are interested in cloud things, you can try either AWS or GCP that is provided by Google, or Microsoft Azure is there. That is also a cloud thing. So you can try any of one of these. So like till now, I have tried on AWS and GCP. So this was my 4 year journey of college life. Now if we move with competitive programming, so like what is competitive programming? So it is just a problem solving skills, and in like common way you can say it as advanced DSA, because like it is more difficult than the normal DSA that uh, you may have studied in your colleges. So for competitive programming, you have to give some separate time for this. And if like competitive programming is much needed if you are uh, going into advanced coding competitions or taking part in some advanced coding competition. So if you are interested in competitive programming, I'll suggest you to make a small team and participate in ACM ICPC. So this is a regional level and national level, international level competition, which is focused on competitive programming. So you can take part in a team of three. So this is also very useful if you are applying for any companies, because if you are qualified in this, like if you have reached to the regional levels or national levels, so they also see this tag that is okay, you have been selected for ACM regionals. So in like on LinkedIn also you may have seen in some profiles that they have written ACM regionalist 2019 2020. So these things are like okay, you have a good amount of a good skill in the field of competitive programming. So it is like a badge for competitive programming. And if I talk about if CP is necessary or not, so it is like not necessary. You can also crack good companies without CP. But if you are doing CP, it is a great benefit because you get an edge over other people, because like it enhances your problem solving ability. So in that way, it is useful. And there are some companies that I've mentioned here, that is Google, Uber, DirectEye, MediaNet, Coordination, and few more companies that like ask questions of CP level, that is very high level. So if you are just doing DSA and all, it is very difficult to crack these companies. So if you are doing CP, then it is like easier for you to crack these companies. But CP really needs some time. So if you are in your third year or fourth year, I won't suggest you to start CP now. But if you are like coding, or if you are in your first year or second year, then you have some time. So now you can start with CP also. Now, if we start CP, so it needs at least 1 year or around 1 year. So the first thing is we need to choose a programming language that is either Java, C++, or Python. But like most of the companies allow these three languages, and there are a few more languages that you can select, but these three are the most common ones that you can choose. So for my case, I chose Python and Java. Like first priority was Python and then Java, because there are very few companies who don't allow Python. So you have to code either in C++ or Java. And if you are like starting to code for any problem, so you should know the time and space complexity for any problem. So for example, if we are trying to find if a number, given number n, is a prime number or not, So we have to check from 1 to n if it is divisible by that number or not. So in this case, the time will be linear. So in this case, like in this way, you can understand the time and space complexity. And for every solution that you are solving, you should also know the time and space complexity for your code that you are giving. And then you have to study the DSA, that is theory part. So there are many, like there are few books that you can study, or there are many YouTube channels also. So I preferred YouTube channels, and you can get some playlist for that. uh, so like you can watch any one or two playlists, so that will be, I think, sufficient if you are able to understand from that. Or else you can read any book for DSA. So it's like some common data structures are like arrays, linked list, stacks, queue, tree, graph. So, and for algorithms, there are some algorithms that I've mentioned here. So if you are like very new to this, so you can start from HackerRank or InterviewBit. So these are having some like easier problems so that you can start, and you should be like motivated to increase the difficulty levels also. And if you have to compete on like with other people, so there are many challenges on lead code, code chef, and code forces that you can give. Okay. And lead code has weekly challenges also, like on every Sunday, and every 2 weeks on Saturday. So I use lead code mostly for my preparation, and always try to give the contest that is like weekly. So that will be increasing the like improving your time for solving any questions. So that is very necessary if you are giving any coding round for any companies, because there you have also a time limit that okay, you have to solve two questions in 60 minutes or three questions in 90 minutes. So if you are not like taking care for the time, you won't be able to solve all the questions in time. And if I talk about my interview experiences, so till now I have like given interviews at these four companies. So if I talk about PayPal, so I had three technical interviews, and for Visa I had one technical interviews and one HR round. So for this I have made a separate video, like what all questions they had asked, what all topics they had asked. And for DSO they have two technical rounds and one HR round. And for JP Morgan, I think they have two technical rounds. So like the things that they focus in interviews are, the first thing is the coding problems, that is data structures and algorithms, and your problem solving skills. Apart from that, you should have some certifications from any website, that is like Udacity, Udemy, or uh, Coursera is also there. Like these websites have some courses, so from that also you can learn some specific skills. And then there's some projects that you should have. So I think you can have some 3 to 5 projects on your resume. And if you have some work experience, that is also better, because that will like give the company that you have worked previously in some company, so you are good to sit in that new company also. So if you are having any interviews like previous internships, so that will be also very helpful. Okay. And I also have one YouTube channel. So I try to post some coding questions and all, and some interview experiences for various companies, so that you can get to know like what all things are asked in that particular company, and some general discussion videos and some live videos that I made few weeks back. So I've added the links for the channels here. And some challenges that you'll face in this entire journey. So the first one is the motivation, because if you are not able to solve any question, you may not be motivated enough to solve the next question, or to move on to some another website, or to learn something else. So you should be consistent. And you can also like make a peer group or like your studying group, So in that also, if you are seeing your friends that okay they are studying, so that can be your motivation. Okay, you should also like solve one or two questions, or they can suggest you, okay, I solved this question today, have you checked this question? So in this way also you can keep yourselves motivated, and also try to take some breaks after 1 week or after 2 weeks, so that you feel relaxed also and not over stressed. So, and peer group is also very important, because if you are going alone and if you are going in a group, so that group is very important, because whatever like lack you have, so that can be filled up by your friends. If you are not able to solve any question, you can take help of your friends also. And like if you are able to solve any question and your friends have also solved, so you can compare the method that you have used and which method is the best. That is the time and space complexity. So you can like improve yourself in that regards also. And consistency like you should have, because if you're not consistent, the results won't be very good. And for consistency, you can give some contests that are present on various websites. So either you can choose lead code or code chef, code forces, anything for the contest, and try to like solve at least one question daily, so that you are like consistent with your problem solving skills. And if I talk about like private colleges and compare it with IIT, so like there are not very like not many companies that are coming to private colleges. So we have to try for off campus also, because off campus hiring is also done by many companies. And we should also be in contact with some seniors and some tier 1 friends who are like doing something apart from their academics. So that can be anything else like ACM, ICPC, or some other scholarships, some other internships. So there are many opportunities that you can get to know from your seniors or your friends. And you should focus on becoming skilled, because if you are skilled, you will be hired by any company. And if you're not skilled and just have some certifications, so that won't be much help. And like when you are doing any course, so do it for learning and not just for certificates. And finally, it is a time management, because you have only 24 hours in a day and you have to manage it accordingly. So if you are like wasting it, like wasting a lot of time, you won't be able to do much things. So you should focus on the time also, and like don't waste it. If you are in a college, like also study, and also you can enjoy. So that was all regarding the today's meeting. And now I'll be answering some of the questions that I have got. Okay, so the first question is, which platform is best for problems? So, like I already mentioned, that if you are very new to this competitive programming or DSA and coding things, so you can try with HackerRank, HackerEarth. So these websites are very easy problems. Like for the starting, they have many easy problems, so that you can solve at least 10, 20, 50 problems, like easy level, so that you get confidence, and then you can increase the difficulty levels. And then you can move to websites like LeetCode, InterviewBit, and CodeChef, Codeforces. And there's also one website that is GFG, Geeks for Geeks. So there you can also learn the theory part. And there's one problem solving section also. So in that you can categorize it with respect to the data structures like arrays, linked lists, or trees. And also you can filter it by companies. So if you are applying for Amazon, so you can filter, okay, I want to select for this like set for this company. So what are the questions that this company has asked? So you'll get a list for all the questions company wise also. So you can try that website also. Next question is how many problems to solve to be strong in DSA. Okay, so if I talk about myself, so on Hacker Rank, like on in the problem solving section, I have got 5 star. So that is like the highest is 6 star. So uh, in that you can get a approx idea that how much questions I have solved. So I think that will be sufficient if you are getting 4 or 5 star in Hacker Rank. If you are like starting from Hacker Rank, and on Lead Code, I have solved around 500 questions. So even if you have solved around 150 or 200 questions, that will be like sufficient. And I also talked about placement section, a placement group that is in like on Lead Code. There is one group of questions that is related to placements, and in that around 150 questions are there. So if you are able to solve all those 150 questions, I think that will be sufficient for sitting in any companies. Okay, next question is which projects should we work on? So for the projects, I've talked about some of the domains that are there. For example, Android development or web development, game development, blockchain, IoT, cloud platforms are there. So whatever is best for you or whatever interests you, you can choose that domain and then you can work on projects for those domains. And you should make sure that you are working on the project like individually, or even if it is in a group, you should try to contribute as much as possible, because if you are just taking some project from GitHub or from any other website and putting it like for your maybe course projects or on your resume, so that won't be helpful, and that can sometimes lead to rejection if the interviewer is able to like know that okay, you have not done this question on your not done this project on your own. Okay, next question is how to be consistent for CP. So this thing I already mentioned, that if you are solving at least one question or if you are giving some contest, so make sure that it is a compulsory thing for you and you should not skip any contest, so that you try to be consistent with that. And for contests, there are many websites. So I used Lead Code for the contest, and this contest every week, like on Sunday, and every 2 weeks on Saturday. So that is in one contest there are 4 questions. So that is 12 questions for 2 weeks and 24 questions for 1 month. So if you are solving 24 questions in a month, that is around 1 questions every day, except 1 week gap, 1 week break. So that thing also you can follow. The next question is how can we approach people for off-campus placements? Okay, so for off-campus placements, it is very good if you are getting a referral, or else you can also apply directly to any company. Like there are many jobs or internships open on LinkedIn or on Google Jobs or Internshala. Also, you can try. So in these websites, there are many openings. So from there you can apply. And if I talk about referrals, so you can ask people on LinkedIn who all are working in the company that you are applying to. So those people can refer you for the job that you are interested in. And you have to just send your brief profile, like your name and your college details and like what all skills you have. So if the person is thinking that okay, you are suitable for that, and also the job role, so if that person thinks that if you are okay for that job role, he will be referring you. So that gives a boost for your profile, and that it increases the chances that you will get the online coding round, that is the first round. And after that you can like apply, give the interviews, and then finally get selected. The next question is where should we practice problems? So I already mentioned many websites. So from that, like any website you can choose, and you can practice whatever platform you feel the best. And like I will recommend either Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code, or Interview Bit. If you are little experienced and if you are like starting, you can focus on Hacker Rank or Geeks for Geeks, because they are having like many easy questions also. So from there also you can start. Okay, next question is how much time should we spend on CP? So I already mentioned that if you are like in your first year or second year, you can start now. If you are in your third year, so that is like almost the end now. So yeah, few months for your placements. So if you start with CP now, it will take some good amount of time. So I don't recommend if you are in your third year or later. If you are in your first year or second year, you can start CP, and it will take like almost 1 year to get a good grab of that. So if you are in your second year, you can start this. Okay. Next question is how to prepare for SDE role. So SDE role is software development engineer role. So this is basically developing some softwares. So if you are developing some good projects, so this will be a advantage for you. If you are applying for an internship or if you are completing an internship as an SDE, so that will also help you to get a SDE job. And the main thing is projects. And if you are getting some certifications or some courses that are having some projects with that course, so that courses also you can do. And finally, you should like focus more on the projects part because that is the main thing for SDE roles. The next question is clubs and chapters important? Okay. So clubs and chapters, like if you are joining some non-technical clubs, so chapters like music club, dance club, and all, so that won't be much helpful for the coding part. But if you are in a management role, that is managing the team, managing the clubs and chapters, so that can be helpful in your HR round. That is the last round. So there are some behavioral questions or some management related questions that they ask. So in those questions, it can be helpful. If you are in a technical role in your club or chapter, like as a developer, either Androids or web developer or any developer, so in that you get to know about the various technologies that are currently being used. So like for example, if I talk about JavaScript, so there are many frameworks like React, Angular, and all. So if you are working in Python, there are many libraries like Flask, and like many libraries are there for every languages. So these things you get to know if you are in a technical role. So these things also help you in the interviews because if you are making any projects and if you are talking about few things that are not on your resume, so if you are having a background of any club or chapter, so that will be much more helpful. If you are like already a part of a club or chapter and you have worked on that also, so in that way for the technical roles it can be helpful. Next question is how can we apply for offline internships? Okay, so I mentioned recently three websites. That is, first is LinkedIn, second is Google Jobs, third one is Internshala. So like I used these three websites for applying off campus, and you can get many internships or many job openings are there on these websites, and you can try to apply from that. And you can also get a referral if possible from any employee of that company, so that will be a boost for your profile. So in this way you can apply for offline internships or off campus internships. The next question is how to approach people on LinkedIn for off campus placements. Okay, so first thing is if you are like for example if you are trying to get an SDE1 role in Amazon, so you should first filter out all the people or all the employees of Amazon that are working as an SDE, like either SDE1, SDE2, or a product like SDE roles or similar roles. And you should try to focus on people who are having around 4,000 to 5,000 connections, so that they get less number of messages and they can respond to you. So you can try to send connection request to them, and there is one option of add note when you are sending a connection from laptop. And if you are using mobile, so there is one personalized invite when you are adding a connection to anyone. So in that note you can add your brief details and mention that okay, you want a referral for this role, and you are good in like data structures, core computer science fundamentals, like the subjects like OSD, BMS, networks. So in this way you can apply for, like, you can connect with those people, and then you can send them your resume, your details, so that they get to know more about you and then they can refer you. So in this way you can approach the people on LinkedIn. Okay, next question is how projects. Okay, what projects should we do and how many? Okay, so for the like what projects thing, I already mentioned some domains that you can work on. So for my case, like I was not very sure which domain I should choose. So that's why I explored most of the domains that are present. And then finally I chose web development and cloud platforms and AI things. So like in these three domains I'm currently working. So like it depends on people, like person to person. So whatever you find interesting, you can work on that. And for how many, you can have at least 2 to 3 projects, and maximum you can have 5 projects, like not more than that. So this number will be sufficient for your resume. Okay, next question is how competitive programming is useful in skill development. So if you are like into competitive programming, you are also enhancing your problem solving skills, and you will also be optimizing the time and space complexity for all the questions that you are solving. So in projects also, if you are like making any project, so there's one like lengthy way or a slower way to make anything, like make any project, and you can also optimize it in every step or in every like sub task or sub project. So in that way it will be enhancing your skill to develop any project and like break down the project into several small components and then code for that part. Next question is how to prepare for competitive coding and interviews. Okay, so for the competitive coding part, I already mentioned in the slides, during the slides. So there are some websites that you can use. And for the interviews, the coding, like you should have some data structure and algorithms concepts, and they are mostly asked by the interviews in the like in the interviews. And there are some other things other than coding, that is projects or previous work experiences or PORs, that is position of responsibility, then some certifications you can have for some courses that you have done. So in this way you can prepare for competitive coding and interviews things. How to apply for internships. Okay, so if you are applying for internships on campus, like from your college, so there are many companies coming in the colleges, so you can directly apply on campus. If I talk about off campus, there are many websites. So like some of them are LinkedIn. Like on LinkedIn there is one jobs section, so in that you can search for internships. Like if you are interested in software internship, so you can search software intern and filter out by the region. Like if I talk about India, so you can filter out India, and then you'll get a list of all the internships that are open. There are some more websites like Google Jobs is there. So if you just search on like Google that software internships, so it will be showing a list of openings, and from there also you can apply. There is one more website, that is Internshala. So in that also you get many internships. So if you are like a beginner and you want to work in some small companies, so you can start with Internshala. And I also got the first 2 web development internships from Internshala. So I think if you are a beginner, you can start with this. Okay. Next question is few tricks that you found out during the journey that changed the way of solving problems in competitive programming. Okay. So like I did not do much competitive programming, and I also not participated in ACM ICPC. So I just did the basic data structures and algorithms things. Practice from a website that is Lead Code and Geeks for Geeks. So I did only these things, and just be consistent and don't skip any contest. So if you are like missing any contest, you can also give that in virtual mode. So for example, if today is Sunday and you miss today's contest, so you can give today's contest later, like today evening or tomorrow also. So don't miss any contest, and try to focus on learning the data structures and algorithms rather than just the count of the question that okay you solved 50 questions, but you should measure it. Okay, like you understood arrays today, you understood dynamic programming, so in that way you can count your progress and not just by the count of the questions. So like I never uh, saw the count of my questions, like okay I had solved 50 questions, I had solved 100 questions. So in that way I had never seen. So you should try to focus on the data structures and algorithms like topic wise, so that you can move forward and you can like improve your practice also. And never lie on your resume, because if you are giving any false thing on your resume and if it is caught by the interviewer, then like you are simply rejected. So never give anything wrong in your resume, either it is projects or your coding profiles or anything else. Okay, next question is how you got an internship at Visa. So for me, Visa was an on-campus opportunity, and this company visited my college in around February end or February last week. So if you are in any like for any third years who are watching this, so I was also not placed till now, like till December. So for me, it was an on-campus opportunity. So it was like generally off-campus is more difficult, and on-campus placements or internships are much easier as compared to off-campus. So for me, it was an on-campus, and it was little easier for me because off-campus, if you're applying, many times you don't even get a coding round opportunity. So in that case, like whatever, like however qualified you are, you won't be able to sit in the coding rounds also. So that is a problem if you are applying for off-campus placements. The next question is, after implementing data structure and algorithm, I am unable to solve the problem of same on coding platform. So please give the direction. Okay. Direction for solving the problem of DSA. Okay, so if you are good in any particular data structure, so for example, if I talk about arrays, so if you are not able to solve some particular question of arrays, so what you can do is you can skip that question for a few days. You can try some similar problems on arrays that is like similar to the previous problem that you are not able to solve, and then you can revise some more problems that is similar to that, and after a few days of break you can again try that problem. So I think, and in like in that time you can solve that problem, and it happened many times with me also. So if I'm not able to solve any question, you can also check, like after 1 week you can check out the hints. If you are again not able to solve the question, take some time and then solve some more similar questions, and then you can move back to the original question that you are not able to solve. Okay, next question is how to get jobs in big companies, for example Amazon, Google. Okay, so if these companies are like visiting your college, so then it is much easier to apply and to get a coding round. If you are like if these companies are not visiting your college, you can apply off campus also. So recently Amazon had opened for SD1 roles, and Google has also opened like many roles for SD1, like that is for fresher, for final years, for step interns also, and for summer interns of 2 months. So like many roles they had opened. So you should have applied off campus, and if you are able to get a referral from any employee, so that is also much helpful. And like if you are getting the coding round, then it is totally up to you if you are able to crack it or not. So in that way, like you can apply for these companies. And for the preparation, like you can follow all the things that I've mentioned till now. So I think that can be helpful for cracking these companies. Okay, next question is, how should I start competitive programming even when I don't have a good command and grip over data structures? Okay, so if you're not having a good command over data structures, first thing is to learn all the theory part. So the theory part you can learn from any YouTube channel. So like there are many YouTube channels that have made a playlist for DSA. So they have explained all the data structures and algorithms in theory part. So from that you can learn, and then you can start with some basic like easy problems on either HackerRank or Geeks for Geeks or Interview with Lead Code, like with the easy problems. And like the easiest problem that I find is on HackerRank and on Geeks for Geeks. So if you are like completely new, so you can start with these websites. First, try to solve some easy questions like 20, 30 easy problems for all the different categories for data structures, and then you can increase the difficulty slowly. So it will take some time, like 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, and so on. So slowly you will be able to solve the difficult questions also. So just have patience and like keep working. That will be good to go. Okay, next question is how to be motivated while coding. Okay, so like many times it can happen that okay, you are trying for some questions and you are not able to solve even after like multiple attempts, like 4 or 5 attempts, you are not able to solve. So sometimes you may get demotivated, but if you are having a peer group or like some group of friends like 3 4, and they are also solving the same problem, so in that way you can like talk to them, and you can also get some motivation from them. So for example, if you are giving some contest and this time your rating decreased, and your friend has also gave the same contest and his rating increased, so like this is only for the like current time, like first time, and next time maybe your ratings will improve and his ratings will be decreasing. So like it is a continuous process, and those don't just look at one aspect of this. So just try to have two websites so that you can be consistent, and if you are not able to do good in one website, you can try with the second one. And also try to keep learning new things like new data structures and all, and be consistent with this, try to solve one questions daily. And like currently lead code is having a monthly contest, monthly challenges also, in that they are giving one question for every day. So for example, December challenge is there. So like if you will search December challenge lead code, you'll be getting a link. So in that you can see that there are 30 questions, like one question is released every day. So in that also you can try to solve those questions, like I'm also solving that. So in that way you can be consistent, and you can be motivated also if you are able to solve some new questions that you were not able to solve last week or last month. So and if you are not able to solve any questions, don't like demotivated, because you are not the only one. There are many people who don't like who are not able to solve the questions in the first attempt. So like you can try some similar problems in that, like for that question, and try to get some hints for that question. And maybe you can discuss with your friends like what approach they used, and then you can try it again. So in that way you can like solve the questions that you were not able to solve previously, and this can be a motivation for you. And like there are many students who are from like different colleges, and like many companies are not visiting that colleges. So they also apply off campus and then they are getting selected. So it is like up to you, like how many companies you are applying and how much efforts you are putting in. So all these things matter, and let's just uh, be consistent and keep working. So all the things will be good. And yeah, that's all for the questions that I have.
Thank you, sir. It looks like we have a few questions in the chat box, so I'll
Okay,
bring
okay.
them up one by one. Okay. So Yash asks, from where and how did you apply for internships?
Okay, so if I talk about internships, I had mentioned three websites like previously. That the first one is LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn Jobs, there's one section LinkedIn Jobs. So if you go to that section, you'll be asked to search a keyword based on which the internships will be shown. So in that, if you are looking for software internships, so you can just write software intern and select the region, maybe India. So in that, you'll be getting a list of all the open internships that are there. So from there, you can apply software intern. Then there is one Google Jobs section. That is, Google has compiled all the jobs that, like based on its search algorithm. So from there also you can get to know about many internships that are open. And if you are like a beginner and you don't have much experience, then you can move to Internshala. And there are many small companies like startups and all who are like looking for candidates. So in that also you can try to apply and get the internships. And as I already mentioned that the web development internships that I had got, like both of them, like I got them from Internshala. So you can also apply from these websites and you can also get internships from this.
Okay. After that, Vaibhav says, please give the roadmap for second year CSE students for placements.
Okay, so if you are in second year, so if you're in second year, you can also start with competitive programming because you have a good amount of time, and try to focus more on projects also. And if you are working on any project or any particular domain, so for example, if you're working in web development, try to get some internships also in that, because if you are having some internships also along with the projects and the skills, so this is like a holistic profile. If you are applying for any like good internship maybe in your third year fourth year, so that time it will be very helpful. So for now you can practice on coding, that is either DSA or competitive programming, do some projects, get some certificates for some courses, and like keep applying for off campus internships. So that's all.
Okay. After that, Sudhanva asks, sir, can you share your time management to deal with college study and developing coding skills?
Okay. So for time management, like I was not like I did not wasted much of my time, and I always like kept learning because like learning is a continuous process, and I always had something with my schedule. So I was always occupied with either some courses or some internships or some projects. And you can also like schedule the things accordingly. And for example, if you don't have any internship now, you can keep improving your coding skills, keep making projects side by side. Like coding is for daily projects. You can week like work on the weekends also. So if you are working in a team, so in that case, it will take around 1 week to make a good project. Then you can also apply for off-campus placements, off-campus internships and all. So like schedule the things according to your like preference. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Then Sanika asks, how many programming languages do you recommend for CSE students other than Python, C++, and Java?
Okay. Okay, how many? Like, I don't think that you need anything else other than these languages, because like there are many languages like Ruby, Objective C, JavaScript, and all, but it is not necessary to know any of these, because in the contest or in the interviews you are required to know only one of these languages. So if you are knowing either Python, C++, or Java, that is also sufficient, and that won't be much difference if you are compared with someone who knows 4 or 5 languages. So that is not much important.
Okay, sir. After that, Aman asks, is Python good for CP and also for web development?
Okay. Okay, so for CP, if I talk about languages, so there are like 3 languages: C++, Java, and Python. So the timing for their execution is like C++ is the fastest of all, and then it is Java, and Python is the slowest of all these three. So if you are doing CP, C++ is recommended. But as I mentioned that I had not done much CP, so I did not focus on C++, and I also find it very difficult if I compare it with Python and Java. And Python is like, for me it is very easy, so I used mostly Python, but I was not into competitive programming. So if you are just doing DSA, these languages don't matter, and you can choose either Python, Java, C++. But if you are doing CP, so then I will recommend either C++ or Java. And for web development, I think these languages are not much there. It is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and there are some frameworks maybe in Python. So in that case, you can use Python also. Yeah, that's it.
Great. Thank you, sir. It looks like we've covered all of our questions. So we move to the end of the session. So I would like to thank you, sir, for being with us today and bestowing the participants with such useful information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Therefore, we wrap up our session here. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.